Nice banner, ain't it? I found it on the beach covered in bird shit. Must have washed ashore from parts unknown. Gods be with you, envoy. This is the banner of Cad Nua, a fine castle in the Eastern Reach. Not so fine anymore, is it? According to legend, one of the gods destroyed it. Then the lord or lady returned from the dead, seeking vengeance. That's where the story gets interesting. Romance, sword fights, explosions, dragons. Strange tale if you ask me. Never did hear how it ended. The Pearl Coast used to be a home to many of my people's cities. These days, all you'll find there are ruins and lost souls. Now there's an inspiration. The Deerwood is a beacon of resistance against those who would oppress. No offense. Paradise. That a settlement should last so long in the Living Lands is nothing short of miraculous. There's a reason folks refer to this place as Old Valia now. Not much is grand about this fractured empire anymore.
Welcome to... Good work out there, envoy. Only just arrived and you're already the talk of the town. Well, the ambassador ordered me to give you free access to the city. No idea why he's calling the shots all of a sudden, but...
That sounds ominous.
Anyway, you can go on ahead. The ambassador's expecting you. Well, she comes and goes. You never know where she'll turn up, and it's never for a good reason. Kind of like a nightmare. Once you're in the city, you'll find the Adiran embassy due north of the gatehouse. Take care, envoy.
What? No parting words from me? After all the time we spent together?
Shove off, Muttonhead. How's that for a parting word?
With talk like that, it's no wonder the Adirans think we need a little civilizing. At least I'm in good company now, right?
Paradise can be a nice place, if you know the right people.
Envoy?
Envoy!
You should not be here. You should be free, whole, the blood feeding your veins. Why are you here? A space within emptiness, where the gods live and the dead wait. A cage, a prison. We feel the souls of multitudes, a current beneath the skin of this place. We could dip our hand in once, feel them near us. But now, we are trapped like wasps in amber. But you should be alive. Our beloved, they stole the bloom from your branch. An arrow broke the skin. It carried poison to your veins. A festering blot of corruption spread through the root and sap. It stilled your heart. It silenced the song in your mind. As many as the beetles and worms in the soil. But we do not want that. We could send you back. Just this once. We are bound. We are leaf and root. We are stream and sea. Help us. We sense the rot and we fear it. We fear how it seeps into us, into our memories. You must find us, free us from our prison. Like a scent in the wind, yes. We will show you, but first, we will free you. You are ours. We tend to the sprout on the bough. Breathe deep. All birth is agony.
You're awake? Thank the gods. For a second there, I thought I had a problem on my hands. You're alive, somehow. That's what counts.
Glad to see you with us. I was sure you were already on your next trip around the wheel, but I brought you here just in case. If anyone can work a miracle, it's Liviana, though whatever restored you is beyond even her skill. Oh, his guards bundled him away to his embassy before you hit the ground. He's safe there, probably cozied up with velvet slippers and a glass of something expensive.
There's something I still don't understand. Envoy, you died. A resistance to poison isn't a resistance to the beyond.
What does this mean for her? Should she expect anything else strange? Other than coming back from the dead, I mean.
That depends on a few things. Visions and hallucinations? Likely. Manifestations of past lives? Uncommon, but possible. Not as often as I used to. This is far beyond my expertise. You should visit Runid, our local watcher. She would know what to make of your strange, stubborn soul. One who sees into the spirit realm, speaks to the dead, and knows the past through their eyes. A watcher examines the soul down to its very core. I can't think of anyone more qualified for the job. Runid's shop is in the hills to the northeast. A bit of a walk. Just head out of the gate to the east of town and follow the path that curves to the north. It should be perched up in the hills. Oh, but avoid the Watcher in Hightown. She's a known charlatan. I'll send word to the ambassador that you survived, but he'll no doubt want to talk to you. I'm afraid not. Better luck in your next life. Head up the stairs outside my clinic and take a left onto the main road. That'll get you to the embassy. Apologies. Paradise is a bit of a maze, especially to newcomers.
Don't worry. I know my way around. Which is why I should go with you. Your assassination is bound to have stirred things up. Don't mention it. Besides, I don't want this to blow up any more than you do. The sooner we solve your murder, the better for everyone. And we should talk back at camp. I'm hoping you can help me understand what just happened to you.
Hey, I had a dream about you. In my dream, you were surrounded by light, but it was shining from inside. You weren't alone either. There were others. Some of them loved you, others were afraid of you, but they all followed you. Also, there was a tree that... It wasn't a tree? Oh, it made sense at the time. I can't remember anymore. It's a pity dreams aren't made to last. Liviana didn't think you'd make it, but she never gave up on you. Stay safe. You don't want to end up back here again.
Godlike. Interested in saving a couple of lives? So, you're that godlike, the Adiran envoy. You're the one who saves the ambassador from the strangle root, right? Well, the conversation went something like, "Did you hear an Adiran envoy was killed at the gate?" "What? Really?" "Yes! A godlike! She saves the ambassador from the strangle root." And so on. I'm sorry. That came out wrong. I'm just trying to help some friends of mine. They're Adirans, but they've had a string of bad luck. Is there any chance you could lend them a hand? Oh, heroic and observant, huh? Joking aside, I know this seems strange, but they helped me out when I needed it. I'm just trying to return the favor. Galarde. Lothfled and Gladwine came here about 8 years ago, long before the recent rush of Adirans. They admitted to having a checkered past back home, but they started a new life in Paradis. Back then, you'd struggle to find an Adiran in the city. Now they're everywhere. Anyway, with all these Adirans coming in, Lothfled and Gladwine started spotting old faces. And if they were spotting old faces, it was only a matter of time before those faces started spotting them back. They're lying low in the shantytown for now, but they mean to leave for Thirdborn.
Adirans in the shantytown. I doubt they're getting a warm welcome. Most of the people there are Paradisans run out by Adir.
They're afraid to go out in public, and Gladwine, poor soul, he's gone blind from bad drink. You don't need to be. There are herbs in the wilds around Paradis that can restore Gladwine's sight. It's a little too dangerous for us ordinary folks. But for the Adiran envoy, for the hero who braved the strangle route, I'm sure it will be no problem.
Ending with flattery is a nice touch.
Agrasima. Many thanks, envoy. Oh, there is one more thing they need. Land deeds. They've already paid for them. There's a Rawatayan in the Pearl District, Mako, who was handling the paperwork. I don't know. That's the problem. Mako and I had a falling out a while back. It's best if someone else goes. Thank you, envoy. God bless you.
Tragedy. Recently arrived envoy from Adia was assassinated just inside the front gate. Killer is still at large. A captain from the Valian Trading Company seeks a criminal known as Trevik. Trevik and his crew are believed armed and deadly. Fisherman missing. Last seen near the watermill, northwest of the river.
You died? But you're here? Gods, am I glad to see you? I'll keep trying. But there's not much to be done for Fort Northreach.
Envoy, is it really you? I can't believe you're alive. When they dragged you to Liviana's clinic, I assumed the worst. How do you feel? Your fealty to our homeland conquers death itself. What an inspiration. But we'll return to the topic of your untimely demise shortly. Our first order of business is your purpose here in the Living Lands. You said you had a missive for me from the Emperor? Very good. I'm eager to see what our Emperor intends. Now, His Majesty names you a loyal servant of the Adiran Empire, and an extension of the throne's authority. Thank goodness. At least someone understands the gravity of our situation. With that, I have better news for him. You've seen how wild the Living Lands has become, both in nature and in politics. Sometimes I think the island has a mind of its own. No sooner had you arrived than you found yourself at the center of our troubles. Trust me, we'll get to that. This embassy has no shortage of political foes, but the Dream Scourge is what keeps me up at night. You've seen firsthand what it can do in nature. We can't let it reach the cities. No doubt some superstitious peasant toiling in the fields. The Living Lands has plenty of both. Inquisitor Ludwig thinks the plague is a distraction. She's more concerned about these local rebels fighting against the Empire. They were paradisans once, law-abiding laborers. Now, they're fugitives and oath-breakers hiding amongst the populace. They've sabotaged our work, killed our soldiers, and the final straw, attacked you out in the open. I look forward to hearing about it in your report. I won't lie to you, Envoy. Our position is tenuous. If we can't even defend ourselves, how are we to defend the Living Lands? But defend it we must, for the sake of everyone who calls this island home. Inquisitor Ludwig demands that someone hang for the attempt on your life. These Paradisan rebels must face justice. Ludwig goes where she likes, haunting the Living Lands like a vengeful spirit. She'll reappear when she chooses, and not a moment sooner. Let's make sure to give her some good news for a change.
Not many get a chance to solve their own murder, you know. I know someone who could help. A dwarven tracker named Marius. Kith or beast, there's little he can't find. He's staying at the Grinning Ballarrock, not far from Liviana's infirmary. We just take the main road east to the market, then head down the stairs and cross the canal. Rough part of town, even by the standards of Paradis. Blend in, for one thing. Marius is from the Tusks, about the harshest and remotest place the gods ever created, even by the standards of the Living Lands.
Trickery, lies. The gods did not build this place.
Let's just say no one survives out there without picking up a few skills, the kind we'll need if we're going to find hidden assassins. Especially if they're from the streets of Paradis.
I suggest you recruit as many allies as you can. but choose carefully. They, like you, will represent the Empire. But before we can send you off to parts unknown, we need assurances from the local healer that you're fully recovered. After all, you survived a brush with death. The health of your body is one thing, the health of your soul is another. An unusual course of treatment, but who am I to argue? Remember, the assassin is out there. You have the element of surprise. I suggest you use it. I admire your confidence, but there's no point in being modest with our advantages. We'll talk more of the Dream Scourge when you return. Until then, Envoy.
How about we start with Marius at the Grinning Balrog? Besides, I could use a drink after all this.
You've got some god looking out for you.
Envoy, hello. I'm glad to see you on your feet. Kai.
Tej,
I'm surprised they let you in here.
I'm surprised you're still gainfully employed.
I wouldn't say that. He's just curious company for you to keep. It's nothing like that. You run into all sorts of characters around here, is all. Some more polite than others.
Well,
Kai?
come on, it's funny. Tej caused a ruckus last time he was slumming it at the Ballot Rock. You were trying to kill a man, if I remember right. I had to put you outside.
You threw me into the canal.
You lived.
That water's filthy. I had the runs for 3 days.
Gods, Tej. The envoy doesn't need to know that. Yeah, but now you'll never think of Tej the same way again, will you? And now he'll never think of you the same way either.
Let's not make more of it than it was. I shouldn't have said anything. The fellow cheated me. I couldn't let that slide. Or he'd think we were all marks.
It was over a dice game, right? Tej here has a gambling problem.
Great. Let's air all my troubles. Is there anything else?
The bartender sleeping with your girlfriend.
You're lying.
You sure about that?
We'll talk about this later.
I'm not breaking up with her for you. Just so we're clear.
That's more than enough. Thank you. Was there anything I could help you with, Envoy? The 7-foot-tall Aumaua with biceps the size of my head? No, I am not.
Flatterer. You know I'm barely over 6.5.
Naturally, Mom. How can I help you? Inquisitor Ludwine is the commander of the Steel Garrote in Paradise. Were you to ask her, she'd say she keeps the peace. But she doesn't keep it so much as prosecute it. As ruthlessly as the ambassador will let her. She's also a veteran of the Steel Garrote's campaign in the Deadfire, where she died.
She's a Death Guard. Well, that explains a lot.
I don't know what happened to her there, but I suppose Woedica wasn't done with her yet. I only met her once. She was a mid-level member of the Steel Garrote then, chasing Oathbreakers who'd fled Adiran law. She'd come back to the Imperial Archives to borrow a map to a place called Oathbinder's Sanctum. I remember she was furious because the map was quite poor. She worried about finding the place, about properly executing her duty to her god. She wanted, I think, to do a good job. So, while clearly she has changed, in some sense, I'd say she's much the same. Death Guards are surpassingly rare. Some of the secretaries who traveled with our dignitaries in the Deadfire spoke of one named Iser, a devotee of Berith, who guards the hanging sepulchres there. But I've heard of no others except those I've read about in the histories, or, as you say, in stories. They are people, most often paladins or priests, so devoted to a cause that they simply refuse to pass on to the wheel when they die. Their soul haunts their body. The passion required to sustain them devours their flesh, and they swiftly turn to bone. I've never read a history nor tale of a death guard that did not end with them going quite mad. When they lose their capacity to care for anything but their cause, they cannot love. And when they cannot love, they cannot be merciful. And so everything before them becomes only an obstacle. Think upon your promises and die. That's the litany of the Steel Garrote, usually said right before they kill you. They're an order of paladins born and bred in Adir, though clearly they've found plenty of work beyond our borders. Their remit is simple but comprehensive. They punish all who break their oaths. In practice, that has historically meant contracts. One lord or merchant will hire the Steel Garrote to bring a duplicitous rival to justice.
Fun bunch. What are they doing in Paradise?
Since the events in the Deadfire, their operations have expanded. The Steel Garrote has always been associated with Wodeka. Now, they are explicitly her order. And they go wherever Wodeka's priests, or Wodeka herself, believes there is a need for them to go. The Living Lands are a dangerous, lawless frontier in sore need of order. Thus, they are here. Or so the Steel Garrote say. Do you think so? I've always found her inflexibility comforting. Wodeka's edicts are clear. If you obey her laws, pursue justice, punish the guilty, and give fealty to the Emperor, then you have pleased her, and I aim to please. But Wodeka does not trust. She demands that you declare yourself for her again and again. Her every request is a test, and her every test is an opportunity to disappoint her. I appreciate a god who makes you work for their grace. I don't want anything given to me for free. Of course. I trust whomever told you to consult a watcher also told you to avoid the one in the city. She is a liar and a thief.
Oh, did she take your money?
No. Anyway, watchers are individuals capable of perceiving souls. The soul may be in a living body, or it may simply be lingering, waiting to pass into the in-between. In either case, interacting with a soul allows a watcher to glimpse a person's past lives or their most deeply buried memories. Watchers are incredibly rare, and in Adir, highly controlled. Many people wish to know who they were in a previous life, and do not like what they learn. The smart ones stay hidden. They do not announce their powers, perhaps not even to themselves. Even a careful watcher risks inadvertently revealing themselves by knowing something they shouldn't know. Of the ones that are public, little is concretely known. But we hear things. They make good judges in Wodeka's courts, so long as they're controlled. The lords, it's rumored, buy and sell them to collect blackmail on their enemies. But I suspect many watchers are imprisoned or executed, or simply kill themselves. A watcher doesn't need your cooperation or consent to read your soul. They could learn everything about you, terribly damaging things about your parentage, for example, or things you did in a past life, without you ever knowing. You see how this could threaten the established order, undermine our betters' right to rule.
Yeah, but that's just one side to it. Imagine how a watcher feels, knowing what a threat they are to the status quo. I don't know about you, but I wouldn't be keen on kings and emperors wanting me dead. Sounds like a lot of hassle.
Don't sell yourself short, Kai. I don't doubt you're an expert in people wanting you dead.
You're not wrong.
I rarely am, in any case. The Watcher is fundamentally a tragic figure. Of the few that survive our world, most are destined to go mad. Well, the Watcher of Cad Nua is legendary. It was their castle Aethys destroyed when he began his campaign of terror in the Dead Fire. Oh, by the Queen, I hope I get to meet them someday. In terms of local interest, you'll have heard of Runed, of course. And there was Ida. You may not know about her. She was a Watcher from the Living Lands. I believe she was an Orlin. She must have died, 150 years ago. Slain by a great serpent, gods treat kindly with her soul. Doubtless there are others, but most don't meet a good end. Yes and no. So far as I understand it, a Watcher is born a Watcher. But it takes an event, often something shocking or traumatic, to bring a Watcher's powers to the fore. So you may be a Watcher, or I may be, or Kai, and we might not even know. I'm an open book. Should you ever need me, I will be here. Safe travels, Envoy.